Hi, this is Pastor Brian with another day of family Easter devotions from this book, Why Easter? And today's scripture reading comes from Matthew chapter 26, verses 47 through 56. Matthew 26, verses 47 through 56. So go ahead and pause the video and read that now, and I'll see you back in just a moment. Welcome back. Let me start with reading what's in the book here, and just a couple comments and give you some questions to discuss as a family. The disciples wondered, "Why are all these soldiers coming into the garden?" While Jesus was still talking, a large crowd of soldiers and religious leaders came to capture him. They had never before been able to catch Jesus. Therefore, expecting a fight, Jesus' enemies came with clubs and swords. The disciples were not ready for what happened next. When a man grabbed Jesus, Peter grabbed his sword and cut off the man's ear. The soldiers, religious leaders, and disciples all believed they were strong enough to win this fight, but Jesus was the strongest of them all. Jesus' words were so powerful that the whole crowd fell to the ground when he spoke. With his power, Jesus attached the soldier's ear back in place and healed it as if it had never been cut off. Because he had all authority over the angels in heaven, Jesus could have called an army of angels to help him at any time. However, Jesus did not use his strength to fight. He knew that God's plan was greater than the sinful plan of the people. Jesus let Judas kiss him. Jesus let them capture him. Jesus let all the disciples leave him. Jesus had the strength to do everything God sent him to do. Our one sentence takeaway for today is Jesus wanted to do everything God planned. Let me show you the picture. Okay. A couple things to take away from this story. One is that when Judas came up, Jesus said, "Friend, do what you have come to do." And the way the book put it there is that Jesus let everyone do everything that they were doing here. So the thing to remember there is that Jesus, even though he's the one being arrested, he is the one that is in absolute control of this entire situation. He's actually, while he's not using his power to fight, he's using his strength to follow God's plan, to do what the Father has called him to do. And the second thing is, those very last words, "Then all the disciples left him and fled." What we see from Peter yesterday, where he said, "Oh, no, I'm strong and I'm going to follow after you no matter what, even if everybody else leaves." He didn't trust what Jesus said, and he ends up failing. He does deny Jesus. And here, all the disciples flee in fear. They leave Jesus when it gets hard. And so that's a challenge for us. A lot of us are going through some hard things now. We're having to stay home a lot more than normal. We don't get to go to school or do any of the activities that we normally do. Some people are out of work and facing some really difficult times, and some people are sick. And when those hard things happen, that's the time to actually turn more to Jesus, to go after him in prayer, to be in the Bible and reading and calling on him to help rather than turning away from him. So let me give you a few questions to talk about as a family. First is, why did the people bring clubs and swords to capture Jesus? And for those with older kids, if you want a kind of a little bit harder question, instead of clubs and swords, what kind of things are the maybe weapons that we ought to bring as followers of Jesus to difficult situations? Second, why did Jesus not fight? Why did he not fight? But then a little bit next level question, how did he use his power in that situation? And then third, how strong is Jesus? There's a lot of things you could include in there. And so for those with older kids, just go into those areas of life that Jesus is in control of, and think maybe in an area that you hadn't thought before, that Jesus is in control of that situation, and turn to him. So I hope you have a good evening together, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.